So today we're going to be looking at sex magic. Why? Because it's all in the news with the Jew Epstein running his sex slave business, close friends with Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and all of the top billionaires across the West. And if you look at the Eyes Wide Shut film, you'll see that all Illuminism is full of sex rituals, and all of the Rothschilds are into raping babies and eating them. Why? Because sex magic is the core of Illuminati magic. It's the energy, and the children and babies have the most energy. And then of course it filters down to low lives like R. Kelly, who's been rearrested for his alleged predilection for underage girls, drugging them up and doing them in. And we know that the Illuminati run vast underground slave camps for trafficked children and women who are raped, abused and tortured. And we will go into detail what's done to them, because of course the public needs to know what the Rothschild rabbis are getting up to in their secret dungeons with the aid of MI5, MI6, the CIA, the NSA, the Vatican, the French intelligence service, the German intelligence service. All of the Western intelligence services are paedophile abettors, or like MI5, made up of paedophiles. If you're an MI5, you're a paedophile. And as we saw last week with the MI5 pedo by the altar, they all look like pedos because they are pedos. Now let's look at what the head of the OTO, who's now dead, died on 2011, has to say about sex magic. This comes from the Magical Revival by Kenneth Grant. You can't make it up. This, these are all their books. There exists a talisman of universal application, and I thank all these OTO death goat Jews for their help, because it simply makes doing endless videos child's play. Read out the book. In the elemental kingdom, it is represented by pyramis, fire, in geometric terms by the pyramid or triangle, and in biological terms by the phallus. So all of you people who've gone to comprehensive schools, a phallus is a penis. We all know you're thick as pig shit because you have your comprehensive education. As the sun radiates life and light throughout the solar system, so the phallus radiates life and light upon the earth, and similarly subserves a power greater than itself. So Crowley was obsessed with little baby boys because they were the little power source, the energy batteries. So you'll see all of the Rothschilds in their dungeons butt fucking the little baby boys, slitting their throats, drinking their blood and eating them. That's the norm. Why? All comes from the magical theology of the Illuminati. There we got some sex magic down there between those two dogs. Bad. Bad. Trump says bad. Miscegenation. Don't go with the black. Don't. Donald Trump says it's a black. No miscegenation. Back. Donald Trump doesn't like you. Continuing. For as the sun is a reflection of Sirius, so is phallus the vehicle of the will of the magus. So here we've got the core secret of Illuminism, that the phallus is the vehicle of the will of the magus. So when you're butt fucking the baby as a Rothschild, your will to take over the world, make loads of money, is being imposed on the little baby boy through its anus, because let's reiterate, the phallus is the vehicle of the will of the magus. So we've got butt fucking, which was what the Knights Templar were up to, is explained. The phallus is the will of the magus. So the Rothschild rabbis are putting their phalluses into anything they can get their hands on, as long as it's underaged. So if you look in the Talmud, all of this paedophilia is the right thing to do and written in the Talmud. In the non-initiate, the phallic power operates independently of and often at variance with its possessor. So your sex magic is totally wasted because your sex magic isn't focused to manifest your will. Hence, you have no power. Myself, I don't go around sleeping with all and sundry, but I do call up all the A-list bitches and butt fuck them. As we'll explain, you can have sex with anyone you like, calling their energy bodies to you. And let's reiterate, the phallus is the vehicle of the will of the magus. So by doing that, you can control all of the A-list women that you are having sex with. And of course, it doesn't matter whether they like it or not, because they haven't got control of their energy bodies. Because in the magical world, he who has the power does anything they like, as the Rothschild rabbis and Epstein have shown. And remember, Epstein has been protected by the US state from prosecution, and it's only because Donald Trump has come into power that he's been prosecuted. If Hillary Clinton, who's a devoted paedophile and baby eater and baby torturer, was in power, Epstein would never have been prosecuted. Never. Not a chance in hell. Because she goes down to her LA coven, joins up with Katy Perry, her spiritual daughter, and they're butchering babies galore. That is the religion of the Illuminati. Take it or leave it. And as we'll show, you don't need to butcher babies. You can get all the Illuminati to butcher babies, suck the power that they've collected for yourself. So you outsource the butchery. Because I don't like children. I don't mind butchery, but children are offensive. You know, I think of them as screaming, horrible rats. So the further they are from me, the better. So in the drone, it functions capriciously, regardless of the individual. No control over the sex energy. They're all watching porn on television, wanking off. All that energy, of course, goes to the parasites that possess them. In the case of the initiate, however, the position is reversed. All the sexual power is used for the will. The OTO, remember the wanker with the Enochian book was the deputy head of the American OTO. This was the head of the British OTO, who's now dead. And Scientology bases all of its stuff on the OTO because the American head of the OTO gave all the secrets to L. Ron Hubbard, and L. Ron Hubbard, being a genius, simply re-manifested it as a cult. But the Thetans, the war criminals, souls that now inhabit the earth, simply the Jews, their universe is destroyed by Amalek, and their tormented souls, the revenants, after they've been tortured eternally, are released by Amalek to repopulate another universe in preparation for the next harvest. That's a Thetan. And the entire planet is populated by these Thetans, who of course are the crop for the other god Amalek, who of course now is subsumed by yours truly. And every time you have an interaction with someone, there's an energy transfer. So when I talk to someone, there's an energy transfer backwards and forwards. When you have sex with someone, there's an energy transfer backwards and forwards. Since they're all parasitized, you can think that there's a whole network of energy lines connecting you to all the parasitized drones around the planet. And in Don Juan's shamanism, you had to recollect your entire life from birth to the present, blowing out the energy you got from parasitized humans and collecting the energy you got from parasitized humans, which would take you literally decades. But once all these energy strands, which of course look much like a web made by a spider, are cut, you are then free to move where? Between timelines, and become a magician. So it's vital you get rid of all these filaments connecting you with everyone, every alien, everything you met in dreams, everything you've ever interacted with. And in Scientology again, L. Ron Hubbard came up with auditing, where you go through your whole life and the auditor cuts the strands. And as you cut more and more of the strands, you get more and more capability and ability to do magic. Because most people can't spend 20 years in a darkened room remembering every single interaction they had from their whole lifetime. So you join Scientology. So there's nothing wrong with Scientology. Scientology doesn't go around butchering children in basements. But of course, we can improve upon L. Ron Hubbard's technology simply because Scientology comes from the 50s and we're now 2019. So we get new people like myself coming along to evolve psychic development, because it's all about psychic development. If you're not going to psychically develop, then you're going to psychically devolve like the drone, or super psychically devolve like an OTO, Illuminati, Freemason light worker who I've explained needs to pay me $30,000 just to escape all the work they've been doing for the parasite. Enochian Rescue Service, Kabbalah Rescue Service, Chakra Rescue Service. And this, of course, means that the drone in the street is in a much better place to evolve than the outer elect. These are the sausage meat for the Rothschild rabbis, head of MI5, MI6, NSA, Pentagon generals, billionaires, A-listers in Hollywood, Jewish heads of studios, all dog meat, outer elect, all using the wrong stuff. Katy Perry, Ariana Grande, Madonna, Taylor Swift. It's wonderful.
The list goes
Beyonce,
on.
Jay-Z, Kanye. It's wonderful. I love it. More money for me though. So if you're an A-lister, 30 grand up front before you even start to undo the shit that's been done to you. Good business. So you can see why I'm doing the videos. And you see why, of course, MI5 pedos are going mad. Because this isn't supposed to be real. The Rothschild rabbis are supposed to be running the show, not my torture beasts. So the OTO possesses the secret knowledge of rectification and the means of release from the thraldom of unregenerate instinct. It instructs the operator in the proper use of the elemental fire, the right building of the pyramid, the successful wielding of the magic wand. Being supplanted. Get a magic kit, even easier. None of the bullshit, which is all poisoned. The control of the elemental fire involves inhibition of the usual physical results of sexual congress. The libido is not earth, but directed by the will to incarnate in a form specially prepared for its reception. So if one thinks that Katy Perry, the spiritual daughter of Hillary Clinton, this big bad witch who butchers children and eats them and fucks them with her dildos and electric cattle prods up every orifice, a bit like Well, just like Spit on Your Grave 2, where she's chained in the basement and being cattle prodded by the Eastern European pervert, and then buried alive in the coffin. This is normal behaviour. Goes on all the time. We know Theresa May and her husband, who's a big Freemason, involved. We know members of the Tory party, Labour Party. It goes all the way. Judges, police chiefs, all the way. Wonderful. So sexual magic is based on the assumption that no cause can be bought of an effect. Which means you bulldoze your way forward. The more sex magic you've got, the more bulldozing you can do. And if you're as powerful as me, you can simply do anything. We had the entire Illuminati going to burn me alive this summer. They had the Midsummer film. They did their big ritual in Notre Dame, using the entire power of the Catholic Church, Vatican pedos. All of the Illuminati around the world were going, oh yes, we're going to have this ritual burning alive of this horrible, horrible, horrible man, Tim Refat. The Rothschild said they'd crush me like a flea and my ramblings would have no effect on reality. Instead of which, the little Jewess, Iris Goldsmith, was crushed like a flea. And even worse than that, all the energy that was supposed to be drained from me to build the West came to me. Because remember, you burn alive the Wicker Man to bring goodness to the civilization. The original Wicker Man film shown there implicitly. So now the entire West is destroyed because the Rothschild rabbis did the ritual to burn me alive, and the entire West now has to become Iris Goldsmith. That is the template for the West. Crushed, dead. The Hanged Man now is the card for all Westerners, from the top down. And whatever they do to try and change it, it's impossible. It's a zero-sum game, ended by death. And of course, Iris Goldsmith is one of the Rothschild rabbi clan, and by self-similarity and chaos, all of them were afflicted. So we've got Tony Stark Refat's Final Destination film. Fuck the West, kill the West. All the West are hanged men, or hanged eunuchs, or hanged women. So we now have the Final Destination force going through the entire West, slaughtering all of them. So we'll see the West in ruins because the Rothschild rabbis did their big 2019 ritual, and the big Stargate power source to link to the Earth is Notre Dame, burnt to the ground. And the entire Christian religion of Catholicism, not the Russian one, which is Orthodox Church, which is completely separate, has been pulled in to the damnation. So every time they go to church and pray, they bring more and more destruction to the West. Every church in the West has become a hell engine, thanks to the ritual done on the 15th of June in France. And the Midsummer film, poisoning all of Hollywood to make every Hollywood film a Wicker Man engine. So we've got the situation where everyone in the West burns for my ascension. 1 billion people finished off by their rituals. That's why, of course, I put Daenerys Targaryen into Katy Perry, because, of course, she, Death Force, killed by the filthy snow, Samael, powered by 1 billion people. So she's a billion death engine. And she wanted to burn the world, didn't she, Daenerys?
She did.
Exactly. So that's why Katy Perry can join me as my High Priestess of Hecate and enjoy the rewards, or get pregnant and marry Bloom, get original soul back, and Daenerys can be transferred to another vessel. As we see, you can transfer souls, awarenesses, bodies, if you have the power, easily. If the natural effect is annulled, the discharge of energy is not lost, It forms a subtle or astral image of the idea dominant in the mind at the climax of coitus. So if you look in Britain, there's a gigantic image of Babe Station babes generated by all the wankers wanking on Babe Station and all the other porn sites worldwide. Ordinarily, the idea is one of lust, and because of this, a tendency or habit is set up in the mind, which consequently becomes increasingly difficult to control. This tendency must therefore be destroyed. So we see Epstein going around chaining up his little white girls in bunkers and raping them and trafficking them and selling them, having his Saudi passport because he sells little white girls into Saudi Arabian sex dungeons. Becomes a billionaire from trafficking little white girls. I don't know why he's not trafficking little Hispanic girls or black girls or Muslim girls. It has to be white girls. These Jews have something against white people. The mental exaltation generated by a magically controlled orgasm forms a lucent lens-like window past which stream the vivid astral imagery of the subconscious mind. Specific images are evoked and fixed. They become instantly and vitally alive. As the luminous presence is obsessive, magical safeguards are essential to offset actual obsession. But if you're a black magician, like getting obsessed. Why do you think I'm into heavy duty BDSM? Because I've been using massive amounts of sex magic, calling up Kathleen Turner and Sharon Stone, Kylie Minogue, and a whole host of others. Yeah, that's it. Because remember, when a man has sex with a woman, he drains the woman, which is in one of the books on Don Juan, done by one of the women apprentices. So every time a man has sex with a woman, he drains her. And of course, you don't need to have dirty, messy, horrible physical sex with all those fluids. You can simply call up their astral body or their bioplasmic body, bioplasm, soul fluid, have sex, drain them dry. They get old, ill. In the case of Kathleen Turner, she got massive arthritis, I think, had to go on steroids, and Sharon Stone got brain cancer, Kylie Minogue got breast cancer, Katy Perry went mad. That's wonderful. But of course, if you try and do it to someone who's got immense power, like Madge, then of course it won't work. And it took me decades to drain dry Madge. And the same with Michael Jackson. Come here, you little pedo black. That's it. Oh, yes, that's it, yeah. That took me decades to drain him dry before he was killed. So as you can see, sex magic is the core of black magic. And what we see, the more sexual energy you've got, the more power you have. Why do you want power? Well, as a black magician, you want power to be able to crush the British government, destroy the West, simply because you can. They start the war. I'm finishing it. In fact, I finished it with Iris Goldsmith and Notre Dame. So now in all my magic, Iris Goldsmith is used all the time, 100%. So we'll destroy Theresa May, make her ill, kill her, destroy the Jeremy Cunt, destroy the Tory party, destroy the country, split the country up. All fun, all a matter of a minute's work. And all the rituals done by my enemies. A big Saturday ritual by the entire Vatican to destroy me in Notre Dame. All the Illuminati rituals to destroy me. All the 33rd degree Freemasons desperate to destroy me. All the Rothschild rabbis butchering babies to generate the force to destroy me. All reversed where the entire West is destroyed for my elevation. The inverse Wicker Man ritual. And of course, who would be nasty enough to burn 1 billion people so he becomes a god being? Tim Tony Stark Reefer. For him, that's a good day. Remember, I live in the Far East now. I hate the West. I hate everything about the West. I'm with the Chinese. Continuing. These images are dynamic links with the deeper centers of consciousness and act as keys to the experiences or revelations which form the object of the operation. In this case, the operation was to destroy the West, done by the West on the West. And of course, there's nothing they can do about it. Little Iris Goldsmith is burning in hell. She is just one little aspect of all the Rothschild rabbis, so that they're all processed because of the self-similarity of chaos. And with the Enochian keys, the entire Earth has been locked into destroying the West. So when the West lies in ruins and resembles Mad Maxville, my job will be done. To incarnate such experiences is the object of sexual magic. It is necessary, therefore, to formulate the will with great care and with strict economy of means. There must be nothing in the mind at the moment of orgasm except the image of the child which it is intended to bring to birth. So we see with Amalek kill, it's simply kill everything in sight because they want to burn me alive. Makes life very easy. The path of total vengeance. Objurgations against masturbation, onanism, self-pleasuring, coitus interruptus, coraza, I don't know what coraza is, and other apparently sterile methods of using sexual energy follow logically upon awareness, however consciously unacknowledged this awareness may be, of the sacramental nature of the generative act. I can't see it being sacramental when you're bitch fucking your bitch, but you know. Erroneous conclusions drawn from incomplete apprehension of the factors involved led in the past to the fire and brimstone admonitions directed against abuses which at one time were thought to lead to degeneration of the nervous system, blindness, paralysis and insanity. And they do, of course, on the people that you are draining dry using remote sex magic, which is my forte. So every pretty A-lister on the planet is my bitch. They don't know it, and they can't protect themselves against me, and all their entire life's work comes to me. In actual fact, none of the energy is lost, though it fails to find a field of operation in the matrix which nature has provided for it. Enochian magic, building the matrix. It breeds instead of physical offspring, phantoms composed of tenuous matter. Through the deliberate and persistent practice of such abuses, clipothic entities are engendered. They prey upon the mind and feed upon the nervous fluid, as Crowley notes. The ancient Jewish rabbins knew this and taught that before Eve was given to Adam, the demon Lilith was conceived by the spilth of his dreams, so that the hybrid races of satyrs, elves and the like began to populate those secret places of the earth which are not sensible by the organs of the normal man. Many long and tedious dissertations on the possibility of a witch giving birth to offspring after union with the devil in the form of an incubus should be understood in the sense that children are born of such unions, though not physical children. Any discharge of energy of any kind has an effect on all planes. It results on one plane are balked, as would happen in the case of the incubus, then they appear on another. According to ancient authorities on witchcraft, incubi and succubi, the incubus fucks you, the succubus gets fucked, were personifications of the devil himself. The devil is synonymous with the creative spirit in man. Crowley goes so far as to declare that the satire is the true nature of every man and every woman. The incubus or succubus is the exteriorization or extrusion of the satire in each individual. It represents the subliminal will, in effect the dwarf self or holy guardian angel. It is this principle in man that is immortal, and it is inextricably bound up with sexuality, which in turn is the key to the nature and means of its incarnation. In ancient Egypt, tomb and womb were interchangeable terms. The tomb brought to birth in the material world, the tomb into the spiritual world. The ideas of resurrection and re-erection were also interchangeable. The phallus erect or rising symbolized the resurrection to the new life in the spiritual world. It also signified the ability to live and to cause to live again. It was said to die in the act of transmitting the vital principle. its word, its truth, which is awareness. Remember, we could transfer Peri's awareness from the damned soul to Daenerys' soul. When she marries, gets pregnant with rat-filled bloom, we simply put it back in the original, and Daenerys' soul and awareness, actually, can be placed somewhere else. Let's look. In a Golden Dawn manuscript entitled Makara, she is described as a woman outwardly beautiful but inwardly corrupt and putrefying. Eve and Lilith are not two different creatures, but two aspects of a single entity. The bright solar creative angelic aspect was called Eve, a form of the creative deity Yod-Heh Val-Heh, Jehovah. The lunar corrupting demonic aspect was named Lilith. She strangled souls in her embrace, or with the cincture of a single hair. She was called the Serpent Woman. Links up with Daenerys? Because of her connection with the lunar current of periodicity, symbolized by her capacity for slaying children as soon as conceived. She later became the goddess of witchcraft, the magic of night, eye of the dark, black magic, as opposed to the magic of the day, i.e. solar or white magic. So two types of magic. Solar magic, which is Egyptian magic, and witch magic, which is to do with the night and killing things, butchering babies. These twin aspects of the holy guardian angel, the good and evil demons, appear alluring and terrible by turns, in the same way that the goddess of Hinduism, Kali, appears to her devotees as the gentle Durga or the terrible Bhavani. Mystically considered, they are subjective entities, aspects of consciousness which can be vitalized by appropriate magical methods. They are vague and shadowy companions corresponding to the most tenuous evocations of the nervous system. In a spiritual sense, they may be considered as guiding the soul along the luminous and dark byways of Amenti. That's Universe B, the backside of the Kabbalistic tree. The evocation of the dark companion for personal ends is referred to by Jean-Marc Rivière, Tantric Yoga. I was able to know personally the absolutely depraved and abnormal sexual appetite of these false yogis. The method used is called Prayoga, though through which it is possible to visualize and animate certain female entities which are called succubus. Arthur Avalon also refers to an analogous process of sexual black magic in the serpent power. Those who do practice magic of the kind mentioned work only in the lower centers, have recourse to the Prayoga, which leads to Naika Siddhi, whereby commerce is had with female spirits and the like. So let's show you some of this on my bitch. So let's call up Katy Perry. Call up, bing, there we are. And we can call up all the energy of Katy Perry throughout her life to get the 5-dimensional Katy Perry. There we are. And then we simply, that's it. There we are. That's where we've got her astral, soul fluid, and her bioplasm. As you can see, huge amount of energy. I'm not dousing the outside, it's way out there with all the. That's her entire life output. There we are. Drain dry. That's good. Now, of course, since she's fucking Jew boy, rat boy Blue, we simply call up Orlando rat boy Blue. There we are. That's it. And we put Amalek inside Katy Perry. So all the energy that's been drained from Katy Perry throughout her own life into the men has been Amalek, which of course then goes into Ratboy Bloom. There we are, to fully Amalekize Ratboy Bloom. And the babies they have in the future, there we are, let's call up the babies, are all living portals of Amalek to destroy the Jews. There we go. Let's some more Amalek. Oh, no need. Because when a man has sex with a woman, he takes her energy, and when she gets pregnant, what happens? She takes it back and drains him dry. So it's like a time bomb. Have sex with a woman, good. Have baby with woman, drain dry. And as we see in a woman, yeah, she's got the ram's horn built into her. With that's her ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus. And this is the symbol for love. So when the man takes out energy from a woman, with the little energy tentacles he's got on his penis, described in the Castaneda, not the Castaneda, the Don Juan book by one of the women of that group. I've got it at home, got it in the second-hand shop, cost me £2. Big money. We're getting, from this ram's horn, from the woman, it's going out in a clockwise, so we're getting a positive torsion field to make anything we want. Make me a billionaire, get me the yacht, get me the jet, all the things I deserve because I'm worth it. And from this one, yeah, going around in an anti-clockwise but outwards, so it's an inverse negative torsion field, which means that we've got anti-evil from the woman, so women can be milked to get you all the good things in life. That's why Epstein's been going around raping all his little sex slave white girls in their dungeons and doing all the things. We'll go through the list of what they do. Duncan was kind enough to supply me with the British satanic ritual abusers handbook of what they do, so we can read through the list, so you can see what they get up to.
Avebury Stone Circle. An Avebury Stone Circle is set up like a womb and fallopian tube.
Is it?
Yeah, and you've got the sanctuary on one side, Windmill Hill on the other side, and you walk up the avenues of stones into the stone circle. And his history says it when they needed to I don't know when it was, 10,000 years ago or whatever, when they built it, they used it as a sex fertility centre.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, to
Earth energy,
reproduce
because what you
the
can
population.
do, yeah, what you can do is drain ram's horn energy out of the earth to make your women and men more fertile and to make super babies, the magical children which Crowley was devoted to.
I always knew it was a fertility centre, and I knew it was a womb, but as soon as you just said that, it just fell into place.
Yeah.
You know, it's the ram's horn. Of course it is.
And if you wonder why the Rothschild rabbis were unable to burn me alive, I got the anti-evil from their high priestesses. So Katy Perry, chief among them, because she does all the Hecate stuff, gave me total immunity to Illuminism, and instead of me being sacrificed, Iris Goldsmith, the female, was sacrificed, reversing the entire Wicker Man to make it a Wicker Woman ritual. So instead of the ritual bringing goodness and wealth to the Rothschild rabbis and their holdings, it burns it to the ground in the worst possible way, crushing them like a flake. So as you can see, when the radioactive Israelis get flown in after the war with Iran, covered in cobalt-60, the Jews will get lynched, Kumbhavaraka dropping, Yellowstone blowing up from Enochian magic, San Andreas dropping, Oregon Rift, plagues galore, race war, class war, and all the Rothschild rabbis lynched, because they won't be able to go anywhere, because the entire West will be overcome by magic. And of course this positive stuff makes me the billionaire in my yacht sailing around the South China Sea, like L. Ron Hubbard on his Sea Orca with his female staff, pandering to his every need. So as you can see, every story has a happy ending, for me anyway. So one can see having sex with a woman, very good. But then of course, when you have a baby, you're generating, going inwards, negative torsion fields. This one destroys you. This one, going in a clockwise direction but inwards, takes all the goodness out of you. So once you have a baby, you turn into a Clooney, where he goes from being good looking to raddled and old, because the babies drain the energy out of people.
And twice as much with twins.
He's had twins, yeah. They're a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
And the boys drain more energy out of the father, and the girls drain more energy out of the mother. But if you look at women who've had children, not one of them looks better for having children, and we get the flat butt syndrome, where their butts collapse. They get stretch marks and vaginal and uterine prolapses, and their brains get rewired. They lose their intelligence, according to research, and become fixated with oxytocin on looking after their children. Like Angelic Annies and Celestial Paladin are fixated on looking after their spiritual daughter, Cookie.
He's right.
And they're both getting old and ill. Because
She's been spayed though, so.
It's all right.
She's been spayed, so she's trying not to make sense.
So as one can see, when we call up Katy Perry, we're draining her dry, and then with Amalek we can then use her to poison Ratboy Bloom, who then of course passes into the archetype. Let's call up the archetype of the Jews. There we are. Put in Bloom. There we are. And as you can see, so I tell the Hollywood Jews behind Midsummer to have Bloom in as many feature films as possible, to poison the Jews with his Amalek poison as quickly as possible. Go for it. Now continuing, Crowley gives a method of generating such companions which involves the use of D.N. Kelly's Enochian system. Such elementals or familiar spirits are, he says, to be treated with kindness and firmness. The best types of spirit are the spirits of the elemental tables which D.N. Kelly had devised for the conjuration of magical servitors. We looked at Enochian magic, so at least you begin to understand some of Enochian magic. These servitors are perfect in their nature and faithful, affectioning the human race, and if not so powerful as, they are less dangerous than the planetary spirits. Crowley conjured them by the keys or calls of Enoch. After the calls, he performed an act of sexual magic after the manner of the papyrus of Nesiamu, letting the semen fall upon and be preserved within the pyramids of letters comprising the names of the spirits he was conjuring. In 1945, the then head of the lodge of the OTO in California successfully performed a similar operation, but with disastrous results to himself. He was blew himself up with, I think, mercury fulminate, used for detonators. And he was the guy who gave all the secrets to L. Ron Hubbard. Then blew himself up, lost all his money. His wife went off with his magician friend. So let's do that ritual on my High Priestess of Hecate, Katy Perry. You can see why I'm obsessed with Katy Perry. She's just so useful. Let's call up Katy Perry again. There we are. Now we can douse her. She's simply got the energy field of her bioplasm, soul fluid now, because remember we take the Nara as soul out. There we are. Now we can simply call up one of the angels. And remember, last week we talked about Peroan, the angel that destroys America and hellizes the American population, and the N on Peroan has to be used to power the progressive destruction of America. And just by chance, the real name of Katy Perry is Catherine Elizabeth Hudson, ending in an N, which she loses, of course, symbolically when she marries Brand, so we can add the N, and which she loses again symbolically when she marries Rat Boy Bloom, the piece of filth that now is the walking death of Amalek. Patient Zero. Orlando Rat Boy Bloom. Patient Zero, I like it. You see how much fun black magic is? It's just a pure hoot. So let's call up the N of Hudson and Peroan, the angelic power that destroys America. There we are. And simply give Peroan the N from Katy Perry and her billions of fans, her Dark Horse video, which is wonderful, her California Girl video, and all the other videos. She does some wonderful videos. Change of the Rhythm, and the 365, and Never Really Over, and the rest. There we are. So Peroan, whoosh. There we are. Huge, 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 huge. Why? We've drained Katy Perry. So where's the energy coming from? Celestial Paladin explained it. Enochian magic links you up with the earth. In the earth are the ram's horns. So if you doused here, you douse a ram's horn and another ram's horn, going out to Peroan. Because at the end of this ram's horn, you always find a power object. In this case, it's Peroan, because we called up Peroan. Could be any Enochian a magical angel. I've just called up the most dangerous one. Why? Duh. That's what I do. And the earth is now powering Peroan with earth energy to drop Cumbre Vieja, blow Yellowstone, San Andreas, New Oregon Rift, the New Madrid one, Cumbre Vieja, might even have a solar flare, or I'm happier to drop the sun output to freeze Ice Age. Gotta have a hobby. All done. Why the N in Peroan? Well, remember we talked about eye to the eye. N stands for the north, the real physical world. So we're adding physicality, north, to the angel. Remember, I control completely Enochian magic. I'm the 007. I have complete control over the planetary grid. You live in my matrix. And remember what I said to the Americans? 25 billion this year, or 50 billion next year. And as soon as Katy Perry, you know when it's going to start, as soon as Katy Perry marries Bloom or has a baby from Bloom, it starts. So you know when it starts as well. So you can give me 25 billion or 50 billion next year, or be exterminated. And if you don't believe it's going to happen, I don't care, because this is a science. Just because you're in the electric chair and don't believe in electricity, doesn't matter when I whack the switch and fry you. That's America and all Americans. And of course it's even worse, because we're not going to just destroy you. Peroan drags your soul to Omega Hell to torture you all eternally. So talk to the deputy head of the OTO about Peroan and the danger, and then you can ferry in the money or die. I don't care. I prefer you don't pay me, but you know, remember it's 25 billion this year, 50 billion next year. No equivocation. End of story. You want to launch your satellites over the Far East and zap me from space, I'm laying waste to you, honouring the threat. Anyway, continuing. As you can see, Katy Perry and me, we love each other because both of us are black magicians. She likes doing the wet work, I like outsourcing. You can see why Hecate was mad keen to have Katy Perry as a high priestess. Most of Crowley's magic was performed on the astral plane and usually involved some form of sexual congress. That's what I've been doing. So as you can see, Colin Bloy's form of magic is all done with energy. And astral plane is soul fluid. Bioplasmic is real world physical energy. So if I drain the bioplasm out of people, they get old and ill overnight. Drain out their soul fluid, their soul becomes vitiated and weak. And since the soul has the intent, the person then doesn't know what to do with their life, becomes a drug addict, alcoholic, falls to pieces, all good stuff. If you're getting worried about this magic, you should be. That's why you need to be one of my customers. Because if you're not one of my customers, you're one of my victims. End of story. The one really easy physical operation which the body of light can perform is congressa subtilis. The emanation of the body of desire of the material being whom one visits are, if the visit be agreeable, so potent that one spontaneously gains substance in the embrace. There are many cases on record of children having been born as the result of such unions. So, as you can see, me having congress with Katy Perry produces children born of the result of such unions, which are actually energy children, which then of course want to have a body. These children were elementals or companions. If the former, they acted as servitors, like the witch's familiar. If the latter, as links through which he was able to communicate with denizens of astral realms consonant with the nature of the succubus. So I've also had children with dark energy matter beings. So gives me the ability to fully manifest in the intradimensional world, but instead of giving energy, sucked it. So the children give me the ability to build using the dark energy matter any good stuff I want, and total protection from evil, the whole 9 yards. So I had one with the Blue Scout and one with her sister. They're not very happy that I'm using them for diabolical ends, but that's their problem. I don't care. So as you can see, you can have two types of children. You can have children with women or elementals. So you can have elemental children or companion children. So every time one has sex with A-listers, one can generate in them companion children, which can be a problem because the little bastards actually want a body. Which means then, you know, make me real, daddy. Make me real, daddy.
Okay.
Luckily,
Okay.
luckily, I can become so obnoxious, so much of a problem, that no A-list woman could marry yours truly or have children with yours truly because of the outcry. We think, but remember, already the deep state is changing things, because all the rent shows, which are highly obnoxious, all taken off YouTube last week. So plan A was to burn me alive. Plan B was to send one of the A-list women to inveigle me to the American side, because I'm married to an American woman. So we know now plan A is the American woman. Thus, Crowley gained direct access to regions hidden from oculists using the old ceremonial techniques of evocation. It also enabled him in many cases to dispense with a medium between himself and the entities contacted. Yeah, so every time I fall asleep, I'm in their world. They're not very happy. They haven't been for ever since I hellized their children. But you know, you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. And as you can see, my role model in the Batman universe is Batman and the Joker. For by sexual union with a non-terrestrial entity, he was able to enter the stream of non-human contacts of which Dion Fortune often makes mention. Done that myself. So when I'm in the intradimensional world, it's solid. When I pinch myself, you can feel it. So there's no difference. None of the Don Juan shamans could do that. When they dreamed, they just saw energy fields and vagueness. Me, when I dream in intradimensional worlds, it's as real as, or if not more real than the real world. Simply my assemblage point has moved, and since the assemblage point is no longer there, it's in the centre, I've become a line energy body, which is another story. The body of light is so called because it was anciently known that man resurrected not in his physical body as believed by the Christians, but in a more tenuous and ethereal vehicle which rose from the dark of death, the abyss, like the stars which rose resplendent from below the horizon. The astral body or ghost was the most ancient type of resurrection because according to Egyptian doctrine, when the mummy transformed in the underworld of Amenti, when it spiritualized or obtained a soul among the stars of heaven, the individual rose again on the horizon as the constellation Orion, the star of Horus, the Sahu, or glorified body resurrected eternally in the fields of Sekhet, Aru, space or eternally. So one can see psychic development isn't about anything but building the body of light. And if you've got a body of light within your physical body, then naturally your physical body is going to get fitter and healthier because the energy fields that make it up are becoming replaced with higher frequency, higher power energy fields. So when you've got your magic kit, it's all about using the magic kit to build your body of light. So how do we build the body of light? Yeah. Can we have the ball dropper? Thank you very much.
You do it? Or?
Yeah, you can do it, yeah. I'm outsourcing.
Yeah.
I'll be doing that yourself.
Chief Minion. Ta-da! He even looks like a minion.
Yellow.
You've got yellow on.
There we are. So here you've got your energy body. Whoop. With the parasite up the top, and it's in there. Let's see down there, and you've got your chakras 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you've got the 7th one there, and all your energy body should look like this. Whee. And if you can see in the ground, there's the ground. It makes a trough in the ground as you walk through it to link you up with earth energies. So this parasite, since you've been born, has been eating your energy field. So the first thing to do when you get your magic kit is call up, as we'll do up there, each of your chakras. Yeah. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the parasite in your triangle of art, and you're going to hellize it so it's facing east. You'll stand in the north. Call it up. So that's the first thing you do with your magic kit. Go through the chakras and the parasite. Then of course you want to call back in your triangle of art all the energy that you've lost. As you can see, this is a normal energy body of a normal person. You want to call it back in the triangle of art, and with the orb, which is 5-dimensional, you can feed it to yourself. So you are then putting back all the energy that the parasite ate throughout your whole life. So you look like an apple with only one end left. So you've seen the films of the chipmunks, so just take the top off. That's what your energy field looks like. Then of course you've got all of these lines coming out, every interaction you've made with people, binding you into a web so you can't go intradimensional and jump between timelines. So what you can do is use the dark crystal that comes with the kit and cut all the lines. So we're undoing the damage. This is spiritual development. Then you can call up, if you've had children, all the energy you've donated to your children, all the energy that you've donated to every woman you've had sex with, to build up your energy body. And eventually, after you've gone through that, you'll have a little egg shape. Much smaller than egg shapes in the past. And if you're a shaman type, you'll have one of these, really much bigger. And if, of course, you do the super soldier, you'll have the assemblage point there in your brain, and throughout your life, as you get more and more energy, it goes into the center until you unmanifest. And since you don't have a gap, it effectively blocks off aging. And then you can do what I do on women, drain them dry to build the Grail state, and move the awareness of a Nagwal woman into yourself to merge them, and leave the awareness of the parasite in the woman. The same thing you do if you did chakra and raising the kundalini, to make a Grail state, which we talked about last time. And as the Grail state has a gap, you can think of the Grail state pardon me, not to scale, because it'd be much, much bigger than these. Think of the Grail state, there we are, it's got a gap, as being two binary, where you've actually got two energy bodies joined together, one with the female awareness which resides in universe B, one which is the male awareness resides in universe A, communicated by the ram's horn, one draining dry universe A, one draining dry universe B. But when you douse them, they just appear like the Grail state we showed last year. That's the state I built in 87 after going through that one. So you can see females are vital to the evolution of the magician. Why? Because half the population are females, and the human race is male and female. So any magician who doesn't get really into women, or any female magician who really doesn't get into men, can never ascend to become an ipsissimus. That's why I'm devoted to A-list women and draining them dry. And why you'll see loads of stuff about Katy Perry on my websites, because she is my familiar. So instead of having a black cat, I've got Katy Perry. And of course using her as the doomsday weapon to destroy my enemies. And as you can see, you've got to be totally ruthless to be able to do that. And of course after Perry's gone, we've got Taylor, who's madly keen on becoming the new queen. So as you can see, get rid of one, bring in the next. All good. Then we got Gaga in the wings, because I need a drinking partner. And she like me, is a complete pisshead. So continuing. Ooh. No cause may be balked of its effect. The stellar or astral body was also called the desire body, because it is the vehicle of sentience in the human organism. The body was ascribed to the most ancient star god Set, who was also a god of fire. Sex being the mainspring of the astral body, it was through its use that Crowley accomplished most of his magic on the subtle planes. So all magicians are into sex magic, because that's the power source. No course may be balked of its effect, and if the effect is hindered from manifesting on one plane, it does so upon another. It is in its secondary manifestation that danger lurks for the uninitiated practitioner, because in this phase it generates a debased image of the will. To circumvent this, the will must be as steady as a flame in a windless place. the slightest tremor and the image wavers. This is why intensive practice of mental concentration is essential. The mind and the will must unite and function one-pointedly. So as one can see, sex magic and masturbation and all the other deviancies for a magician are the way forward, because you have sex for a purpose. So I built Omega Hell from massive amounts of sex energy I drew from the debased Illuminati. And of course everyone in the Illuminati and the West was dragged into Omega Hell by the Notre Dame ritual and the Midsummer ritual and the death force of Iris Goldsmith. So that was the end of the West. So you see I'm off to the Far East now. Job done. Just watch the West burn. The mind and the will must unite and function one-pointedly. When the image is distorted, it breeds an alien and parasitic growth that lives on the vital energy of the person who it called into being. So they get become perverts like an Epstein or an R. Kelly or a Bill Clinton or a Hillary Clinton or a Gary Glitter. Ooh. With each fresh sexual act, the creature gathers power. It becomes a vampire, obsessing the individual and driving him to actions of cruelty or lust of which he would normally be incapable. Eliphas Levi well describes the situation. When one creates phantoms for oneself, one puts vampires into the world, and one must nourish these children of voluntary nightmare with one's blood, one's life, one's intelligence, and one's reason without ever satisfying them. Or you can do what I do, outsource it, so that other people power the vampires. So that's why Duncan laughs when trolls say they're doing black magic on him, because they're feeding him. Remember, he needs to be fed with your blood, your life, your intelligence and your reason, and he's never satisfied. So please, trolls, get on his case. Hate this man, because he needs your blood, life, intelligence, reason, and he's never satisfied. And you must admit, you're feeling better, aren't you, after becoming a vampire?
Much better. Never felt better in my whole life.
I know. So please, as many black rituals as possible against Celestial Paladin. If correctly used, however, there is no limit to what may be achieved by the magical direction of the sexual current. Crowley wrote, I did not know until June 1912 the tremendous importance of the knowledge held by the OTO, and even when I knew, I did not realise it. No, that's Crowley crap. So next, we've got the 1X, 0 of the OTO, the role played by the Shakti or female partner selected to assist in the ritual. So in this case, you've seen my female partner, dear little Miss Perry. 60 years of independent research with the formula of the 1X have convinced me that Crowley was not fully aware of the part played by the mystical Kalas or the vaginal vibrations emanating from the Shaktis used in the rite. So one can see that women are vital to sex magic in its highest form. In tantric terms, the Scarlet Woman is Suvasani, literally the sweet-smelling lady of the mystic circle, chakra, which is formed for the purpose of obtaining oracles and tantras. Tantras are collections of instructions in magic communicated by para-terrestrial intelligences in much the same way as the Book of the Law was communicated to Crowley. So instead of being told by alien intelligences what I should do, it gives me silent knowledge where I simply have knowledge of everything, where I become God, which is the only way forward. And the only good alien is a dead alien, tortured all eternally. And the only good human is one of my customers. The rest tortured eternally. So as you can see, I fully support the Emperor in Star Wars. The universe is for humans. Fuck the aliens. They're our torture beasts. So please, aliens, descend from the stars strike me down with your spaceships. Come on, all you alien intelligences, strike me down. Come on, you fucktards. You can't, because I've gone before the Big Bang and turned the entire multiverse into my Matrix playground. And all of you magicians and Illuminati, you can't do anything because I control Enochian magic, which controls the earth energies, and you're simply my torture toys on the planet. So I really do want a war with the British government. Please, let's go to war totally. I'm going to exterminate you. I'm going to turn Britain into hell, decimate your population, ruin you. Please, let's have full playtime. And the Americans, you got a chance, 25 billion or 50 billion, and send one of the women. But Britain, I'm going to fuck. Continuing. In ancient times, the high priestess of Dodona, Delphi, and Eleusis fulfilled similar oracular functions. They became the sacred uterus, utterer of the word. Lack of precise information concerning the function of the female partner and the discovery by non-initiates after Crowley's death of references in his magical diaries to particular women, some of whom did and some of whom did not fulfill the requirements necessary for the office of Scarlet Woman, has led to a general misinterpretation of his activities and motives. So as you can see, Crowley was screwed because all of his women he didn't teach anything to, and they all had mental problems, and they were all his hangers-on. Me, this is the golden age of magic. I've got all these A-list women, Gaga, Ariana Grande, KP, Taylor, all really, really into magic. I mean, with KP, she's really, really into magic, up to the elbows. And we've got Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye, huge numbers. If you look at Hollywood actresses, loads, well, all of them who are successful goes to Eyes Wide Shut parties. All of them can simply be called up, drain dry, powering me. And of course then you get the inevitable problem that one of these women decides, if we can't beat him, let's join him. So we see Taylor with a me video, and of course the problem with males is that if it's ugly, fat and old, but you know, when she's a big girl like Taylor and pretty and got loads of power and into all your stuff, then of course as one can see, there's no downside sharing magic with a female. But then of course inevitably your little magical children then get a home. Similarly with KP, she might decide, you know, she doesn't want to be tortured eternally with Bloom and wants to join me as my high priestess of Hecate to do all the nasty Illuminati stuff, and it's back to business. I don't care, as long as I get the money with it. So let's see if there's anything else from this chapter. Yep, continuing. Wilhelm Reich is into orgasm. Ejaculation without orgasm is a common occurrence, and as Reich pointed out, total orgasm is far less frequent phenomena. It is undoubtedly even less frequent than he supposed. The tantric conception of orgasm in its directly sexual sense, for it has others, is of a more comprehensive order. It may in fact be described as parasexual. It involves the Kundalini Shakti, of which this sexual aspect is its most material form. The actual production of semen is the end product, if not the waste product, left over from an improperly and incompletely absorbed current of consciousness. The conscious current is twofold, magical and mystical. The former operates in the lower chakras, the latter in the higher. We get rid of the chakras. That which ejaculates a semen is unabsorbed energy, prana or ojas, and it always contributes to the creation of material forms, whether lodged in a womb or not. So lots of cancers are caused by energy fields made from sex. One could think basically of cancer as being caused by this, because what is cancer? Uncontrolled growth of the body, powered by, remember, they're controlled by morphogenic fields, by sexual acts. So all your sexual acts need to be absorbed and then put into the body of light, because all of your sexual acts throughout your lifetime are cancer triggers, and when they get powerful enough will give you cancer. Remember, cancer cells are simply immortal cells that keep on reproducing. The morphogenic field that makes them comes from sex acts that don't make babies. You never heard that anywhere else. If not, the overflow, as in masturbation, sodomy, fellatio, is taken up by the astral and clipothic entities and built into organisms already existing upon the subtle planes. Parcellus refers to homunculi, artificially generated creatures made from sperm independent of the female organism, and to astral larvae and parasitic monsters built out of the substance of voluptuous imaginings. So you can think of Babe Station as being a plague machine, and porn as being a plague machine. Orgasm can occur at any of the 6 main bodily centres, or at all simultaneously, in which case a 7th is brought into being as a supreme event act. It is represented as existing or coming into existence at the crown of the head. This is the Sahara chakra. Remember, we're getting rid of chakras. So it's situated at the region of the cranial suture. At the moment of an adept's death or at the onset of profound trance, consciousness quits the body at this centre. It does so to the accompaniment of indescribable bliss. This bliss is the true nature of consciousness, which manifests as light. It is the ultimate orgasm, of which all lesser manifestations are but shadows, for this orgasm is the great going, the goer, being the special designation of the highest gods in both Egyptian and Indian lore. The ankh or saddle strap is its symbol, the secret seed, the goer from life to life, the goer who transcends death altogether. The sandal strap, the symbol of going and therefore of orgasm, is the glyph of Venus, goddess of love. She is the instrument in the sexual sense of ultimate transcendence of individual consciousness. Orgasm at the varying centres are flowerings of specific powers hidden in the subtle anatomy of man's body. The powers, siddhis pertaining to each lotus are described in standard textbooks in yoga, blah blah blah. Remember, we're getting rid of all of the chakras, and as you can see, attracting the wasps, all the sexual energy we're calling up. They like sweet things. So one can see, oops, there we go. Can I have the ball drop? Yeah, hang on there. Yeah, there's our energy body. All the things have been cut off it. You haven't done your super soldier service, but you're simply a little round egg. Now, as you see,
Cool.
the gap, which is at the centre of gravity there, about the size of an orange, is shut. The parasite's gone, so there's an energy centre from the brain. There's 2 round the adrenal glands. There's 1 round the pancreas, 1 round the liver. This one's the energy used for astral projection. This one for dreaming awake, the use of the bioplasmic body, remote viewing, RV, lucid dreaming. Women have got a sexual centre in the womb, and the male's got one in the penis, but they're all inside. And in Don Juan shamanism, they do the magical passes to move the energy, so it gets accreted, it sticks. So what you want is a circulation of energy in the form of a big positive vortex within the body, swirling the energy around. How do we do this? You can simply call up the energy in your triangle of art from you, the energy which is stuck like toffee, soften it up, liquidize it, and then inject it back through the gap into your body. You can inject energy into your lucid dreaming side to be able to do astral projection, this side to do remote viewing, this side to increase your intelligence, this side to have magical babies if, like Taylor, you want magical children, and this side in the penis to be able to drain women drier and drier. Because remember, the drier and drier they are, the more they need Vagisil. And continuing, to be effectively used in this way, the conscious current must be charged by the will of the operator. Remember, the will comes through the penis, and the female, therefore, needs the penis. So if you're a female, you can call up the sexual energy penis of any A-list male. And then, of course, shove it in yourself. There we are. See? Shove the energy in yourself to give yourself the will drain from the male, which you can then use for your will as via the wand, which is a little magical phallus, for magic. Or you can put it in your new magical baby. So if I have babies with Taylor, all the male energy for the babies will come from all the A-list men. Young men, you know, in the magazines, Justin Bieber, the footballers, and all the other. We've got these South Korean male icon groups. Drain them dry. I can't stand their music. K-pop.
K-pop, that's it.
Yeah, that's what napalm was invented for. Kim Jong-un, finish off South Korea and destroy K-pop, please. With nuclear weapons. I hate K-pop. And then we got all these other male actors. Chris Hemsworth can be drained dry by Taylor, and we saw Vin Diesel drained dry already because he's kicked out of the Fast and Furious movie. He's has been. Dwayne Johnson's taken over with Jason Statham. Vin Diesel, fuck off. We don't need you. You've only been in 7 films or whatever. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. So as you can see, he's lost massive amounts of energy. So you might think I'm just a misogynist bastard preying on women. No, you can see why the A-list women are desperate to join me, because they can do the same thing on other women or other men. Because you don't need to call up, if you're a woman, another man. You can call up a woman, outsource a male penis into your energy body, then suck them dry. Call up a male penis, add it to your energy body, call up a female, call them up, drain them dry. So you see why all of the witches in the music business are obsessed with my stuff. So to be effectively used in this way, the conscious current must be charged by the will of the operator at the moment of its transformation into semen. It is the total fusion of the active and passive principles in a dazzling explosion of rapture which constitutes the transubstantiation of the gross elements of the sacred rite into the glorified sacraments of the true mystic marriage. So if you're a female witch, it's all done for you by my partner Taylor. Look at the Me video when she's wearing the yellow suit, dressed like a man, with the pink tie, which is the phallus for the female. She's designed specially for doing all the stuff I do. The word orgasm implies a sacred rite or working beside its indicatory meaning of emotional paroxysm and swelling. Do you get swellings, Duncan? The Gnostics call this rite the Mass of the Holy Ghost, and the male-female essences expressed in their gross forms were symbolized by bread and wine. The Gnostic Mass is therefore an eidolon of the metaphysical ecstasy or orgasm, which is veiled beneath the symbol of the Holy Ghost, of which the dove, the bird of Venus, is the special vehicle. The dove is also symbolic of the Garden of Eden, the field of the interplay of odic energies. So we talked about Garden of Eden, and Cookie went mad, typified and actualised by women. Garden is one meaning of the well-known word for the vulva, but a woman is not necessarily present in tantric ritual any more than she needs to be present when sexual orgasm occurs. See? You can outsource it or bring the female in. The wet dream is an instance of this. There is an awakening at the critical moment, just as the consciousness current begins to flow out of the body in the form of gleet. Consciousness outwardly flowing is mind, or more precisely mind in motion, i.e. thought. When this occurs, the dream subjective image creating state passes into the waking objective image creating state. It is at this juncture that the sleeper awakens and for a fleeting moment is convinced that he has been cohabiting with an actual woman. Remember, you're surrounded by interdimensionals who feed off you at night. There's a famous picture of the demons by the bed of the sleeper. Being a super psychic, see them all around me when I fall asleep in their worlds. A succubus has been generated, an objectivization by the light of consciousness within the mind of the mind's desire, because the mind always assumes the form of its object. The experience is as vivid as the real thing. For the dreamer, dream activity is as real as in everyday life to the wide-awake person. So I describe all the interdimensional dimensions, all the geography, everything that exists out there, but it's like talking to the deaf, dumb and blind about being able to see, hear and speak. You can't do it. You never will be able to do it. Just accept that if you use magic to be able to move through timelines to give yourself a better life, get rid of the parasites and be able to get a body of life so you can transcend death, that is the basis of the Order, the Psi Lord. The eye is the symbol of the seer, so if you look at the dollar bill, you'll see the eye. It is the consciousness that illumes objects and makes vision possible, so you see why they use it. It is also a symbol of the yoni, the source of images. As such, it is identical with consciousness itself, without which images or forms cannot exist. So you see the eye within the pyramid is the awareness, which we moved from Peri's damned soul to join with Daenerys Targaryen's soul and awareness, because you can join, add to the awareness by eye to the eye by adding the awareness of one to another. So we can add Daenerys' awareness to KP's awareness. And of course she's now doomsday to destroy America, so when she marries Bloom, she loses the Hudson, adds the N to Perrowan to exterminate America. So the NSA now know what causes the death of America. Perrowan powered by Katy Perry. And the male N comes from me, the female N comes from Perry. And remember, I've lost my N because I've changed my first name to Tim. Hudson lost because she becomes Catherine Elizabeth Bloom, the Doomsday Engine. See? That's how magic works. So all of you wanking OTOs, I'm explaining to you 007 magic because I am the 007.
Bloom of Doom.
The biblical passages refer to the practice of retaining the light consciousness in its immaculate or preconceptual state, which was this, prohibiting its outflow and fabrication of images in the material world. Ooh, let's look at this. I seem to underline this. In most ancient times, the fire of the creative process was identified with the beast, Bast, the Egyptian goddess of lust and sexual heat, symbolized by the hippopotamus, crocodile, lioness, cat, sow or cow. Well, I always thought it was the cat, hence Taylor's obsession with cats and my obsession with cats. Cat's good, dog's bad. When this symbolism was interpreted anthropomorphically, as later it was, the organ of generation itself was chosen to represent the entire creative process. So the beast changed into the human, but the katais, the symbolic organ of change, that's the female pudenda, vulva, vagina, remained the same. A special sanctity was thus attributed. The great magic power which concentrated symbolically and actually the power of the beast to recreate and transform itself, to project its image into the future as if by magic, change timelines, and to go on doing so forever. We're talking about timelines, change the future. A special sanctity was thus attributed to the female genitalia, the gateway of perpetual life. So if you wonder why I use females, because they allow you to travel interdimensionally. We males power, but they act as the gateways, according to the doctrine of Illuminati and Illuminism. At a much later period, the Egyptians concealed the human identity of their gods beneath animal masks, which represented the types of energy it was desired to invoke and control. The keen-sightedness of the hawk, for instance, and its ability to mount the heavens and approach the sun, caused it to become a solar glyph of such gods as Horus and Ra. The priest assumed the mask or god form of the hawk in operations involving clairvoyance, yes, and you crows, clairvoyance, discovering hidden treasure, and so on. The snake, with its swiftness, subtlety, and ability to slough its outworn skin, became the type of rejuvenation and change, and therefore of magic. And of course the crows are Hecate's birds. Their brains are far better than our brains, gram for gram. They do much more processing, and of course they're completely murderous. So we have the murder of crows. So if you're a sheep, then you're going to lose your eyes if crows are around while you're still alive. Loads of attacks on the eyes by the crows. Hecate's beloved bird, and if you're a magician like myself, you can talk to the group consciousness of the crows and use their processing power as a giant bionic computer to add to your intelligence. Hence Odin with his 2 crows that told him everything and were used as his scouts. So did the moon in one phase of its symbolism. The snake was originally a glyph of the female. Owing to its powers of periodic renewal, it unified the dualism of phallic power, firstly in its feminine and mutative aspect as lunar energy, and secondly in its creative aspect as solar energy, typified by the sudden erectility and lightning swift ejaculation of venom. The concept finally became merged with the serpent power. So your serpent energy, your sexual energy, doesn't need to be risen. You simply call it into the triangle of art and then put it back into yourself. No rising kundalini. So all of your sexual energy that's got hardened and stuck to your energy body needs to be moved around. So if you do the magical passes, they, from Don Juan, they move your energy about, but you can simply call your energy up in the triangle, turn it into its sublime form, stick it back into yourself. All fluid and nice. The ancient formula, known as the assumption of God forms, was revived in the Golden Dawn and was continued in the OTO under phallic symbols. This formula evokes the Shaktis, lovers latent in the elements, the beasts or gods who represented aspects of the subconscious mind of man embodied in symbolic forms. The transition from mortal to immortal is accomplished by an act of creative will, and the magical weapon, wand or phallus, is the fierce erectile flame common to beast and man. So as you can see, your wand and your triangle of art have your will, and all of that turns you from mortal to potential, immortal. There we are, and we come last, I think, coming to the end here. Yep. So 1914, Crowley declares the beast as the embodiment of the Logos, which is Thelema will, symbolically and actually incarnates his word each time a sacramental act of sexual congress occurs. Each time love is made under will. And as you can see, you can simply call up any A-lister in the world and have sexual congress with them. And because you're calling up them magically, all the sexual energy that's used is for magic. So you can put your penis up their anus or in their vagina or in their mouth and wank off, and that energy is used for magic, and all the energy they've collected from their fans and their rituals comes to you. And in OTO, different types of magic come by fellatio or anal or coital. So you can think of fellatio as light magic work, coital as heavy duty magic work, and all the anal as all the black magic, nasty, destructive work, putting it simply. So you know me, I'm into anal. This is the sacrament which the Christians abhor as the supreme blasphemy against the Holy Ghost, because they cannot admit the operation of the formula of the beast conjoined with the woman as the necessary condition of the production of divinity. This formula reaches back into remote antiquity and is interpreted on its own plane is a sublime alchemical allegory. This is the great idea of magicians in all times, to obtain a messiah by some adaptation of the sexual process. In Assyria, they tried incest. Also in Egypt, the Egyptians tried brothers and sisters. The Assyrians, mothers and sons. Phoenicians tried fathers and daughters. Greeks and Syrians, mostly bestiality. This idea came from India. The Jews sought to do this by invocation methods, also by pedicatio femimarum. The Mohammedans tried homosexuality. Medieval philosophers tried to produce homunculi by making chemical experiments with semen, but the root idea is that any form of procreation other than the normal is likely to produce results of a magical character. Either the father of the child should be a symbol of the sun, or the mother as a symbol of the moon. So the formula of the beast conjoined with the woman relates to the 11th key of the tarot. This key is entitled Lust. It shows the scarlet woman Babylon straddling the beast with 7 heads as described in Revelation. The sacred letter Teth, meaning serpent, is attributed to this key, hence back to Daenerys. No. Yeah, we'll do this one. And
What's this, Raffles?
Babylon and the beast conjoined as in the 11th key, and act in reverse the formula of the 20th key, which is entitled The Last Judgment in the traditional tarot packs. Now, however, as revised in accordance with the teachings of the new Aeon, the key has been renamed the Aeon.
This way.
An Aeon, as previously explained, not only designates a cycle of time,
Not bad for you, darling.
it is also the name the Gnostics gave to their supreme deity Abraxas, of which Abrahadabra, the word of the current Aeon, is a special form. In the key entitled Lust, key X1, Babylon is shown elevating the Grail. In the key entitled the Aeon, key XX, the Grail, in the form of the archbody of Nuit, is inverted, thus showering the earth with her starlight. The fusion of these two images formulates the divine hexagram, the phallic fire. So that's why thank you very much. Yeah. Oops. There we are. So we got the phallic fire in Illuminism there. Or ascending triangle interlacing with the water of space, represented by the downward pointing yoni, or Nuit, night, nox, or nothingness. Have you seen one of those before? But the 6th-rayed star thus formed is only apparently sixfold, for the secret seed Hadit is concealed in its centre, making it in actual truth the 7-rayed seal of Babylon, the goddess of the stars, the dragon of light, at the heart of Nuit. This secret seed called Bindu in the Tantras is the potentially creative point concealed within the mystical chakra. That's basically the awareness which you give to the baby, or which you can move from vessel to vessel. Crowley used the sevenfold star as a basis for the seal, which he designed for the Great White Brotherhood, and the 7 letters of the name Babylon. Yeah, so, which you can also call up in your triangle of art. And remember, you've got the creative one and the negative one stuck in your 6-fold crystals, all in the magic kit. So as you can see, you don't have to learn all of this stuff, which I know by heart, because it's all simply put into your magic kit. And we'll end there. That's next we can go on to, I'll show you before we cut. As you can see, these magic videos are easy. Simply read from the book by the head of the OTO. I'm just not making it up. This is what all the Illuminati do. Blood, vampirism, death and moon magic. So we can get then into all the ritual abuse and what the Illuminati get up to and why on our altar.